What a beautiful day outside it is. Looks like the pool's not open yet. I don't actually know what time it opens, but it's pretty outside. Anyhow, it is crazy to say, but today is the day I am visiting Universal's Epic Universe, the third game park here at Universal. Just opened like 2 weeks ago. This is the largest theme park of this size to be built in the United States since I think Islands of Adventure in 1999. So I definitely really wanted to try to be here opening year because it's probably a once in a lifetime opportunity to come to the opening of a park this big in its opening year. Very grateful, very happy I was able to make this happen. But I won't talk too much because it's about 8 o'clock and early entry starts at 9, so I had to go downstairs and see if I can grab a quick breakfast in the lobby before we head out. But yeah, I'm staying at Universal Endless Supper Dockside Inn and Suites if you hadn't seen the previous video, which is the budget on-site hotel. So it's still not super cheap, but you are mostly paying for some of the stuff like the pool, the transportation, the food court, you know, stuff that you would get from a Universal hotel experience. But the actual hotel room is, yeah, it is what it is, but it doesn't matter. You're not here for that. Let's go. It's not where we're going today, but cool view of Islands of Adventure and Studios, barely, out the lobby window here. Okay, so here's kind of the food court that is in the hotel. So, not huge, but definitely looks like a good selection of things. Really hope that's not the line for the Epic Universe shows. Oh my lord. Holy crap. Anyways, not terribly busy in the food court this morning for breakfast. They had a huge variety, like almost anything you could want for breakfast. Bagels, regular breakfast, pancakes, oatmeal, grits, it was all there.
Anyways, I got a smoked salmon bagel. I guess I should show more of the options tomorrow. I didn't think about that. I got a smoked salmon bagel. And then they had, you could make your own fruit cup and then pay by weight, like an old Sweet Sixties or something.
What's so special about that?
There's a large bus plaza over here where all of the hotel shuttles and such drop off. The main parking lot's over there. So it looks like we get to walk right up to the front gate here. It's nice. You can see all the backs of the facades for like Super Nintendo World and stuff from the bus plaza. So that's not great. That's the building for Mario Kart right there. Wow. It always looks a little bit different getting somewhere in person. The Kronos Tower thing is a little bit smaller than I expected it to be perfectly honest. It's really not that big. It still looks pretty though. A lot more greenery than I expected there to be. Sorry, I'm trying to stand out of the way of the main path. It's beautiful here. Oh, and since this park is still so new, and a lot of people like to avoid spoilers for story and experience-based park experiences like this, I did want to go ahead and put in this spoiler warning. I will be showing in depth a lot of the ride queues at this park, So if you're trying to keep any of the queue lines a surprise, turn back now because I will be showing them all. And also, while I will not be going through and describing every scene of every ride in detail, I will be talking through some of my general thoughts on them that include references to specific things that happen in those rides. So not like 100% spoiler, but still kind of spoilery. So if you are looking to avoid knowing anything about this park before you go, well, then I don't know why you clicked this video, but your last spoiler warning, turn away now.
This is insane.
I feel much more weird filming in a park like this. I'm much more comfortable filming in like a Six Flags park or Cedar Fair park or something like that. But yeah, I don't want to come across as like the stereotypical vlogger type, but I do want to get videos here obviously, so I'll have to overcome my fear is not the right word, but yeah, I just don't like to be that guy, but you know, it'll be fine. It'll be fine.
Yeah, this is kind of weird. I'm trying to get over to Super Nintendo World. This is one of the restaurants. But this almost just looks like backstage area E compared to where we just came in. This is a little odd. There's the walls for this Mario Kart ride building. And here's the walls for Super Nintendo World. So that's a little odd, but...
We're already 20 minutes into the hour-long early entry because of how long it took to get on the buses. That's a little frustrating. I'll talk about that situation later, but they obviously were not prepared for the crowds in terms of the buses. But I think Stardust Racers, then Dark Universe, and then Super Nintendo World are open for early entry. I'm going Super Nintendo World because I think Dark Universe tends to not really be that crowded. Oh, holy shit.
That is a giant Mock Rides coaster over there. Wow. Just go to the right here since we have early park admission with the hotel. So there we go.
But yeah, Dark Universe doesn't seem to get as crowded as Super Nintendo World, so we'll prioritize Super Nintendo World. Also, Stardust Racers is like the highest capacity ride in the park, so we'll do both of those later.
We're at Peach's Castle. Let's go to Bomb on Battlefield. Actually, I don't think that was Bomb on Battlefield. I don't know what that was. What the hell is this park? Alright, 105-minute wait, so almost 2 hours. But based on what I was looking at, it's probably not going to get any better as the day goes on. Single rider line's closed, so here we go.
Lexicon, you tell her to get back here pronto. That girl's got more guts than common sense. But the tiki-tack tribe ain't nothing to mess with.
Minecart Madness. I waited an hour and 45 minutes, which is exactly what the sign said, so at least the wait times seem to be accurate here so far. The actual roller coaster part actually, surprised me. It's actually much better than I expected. For a brand new ride, it's pretty rough, but I don't actually mind it that much. Just because of how you're positioned on like a boom arm so far off of the track, all of the movements feel like really exaggerated. It feels very different than any other roller coaster I've ridden. Yeah, my main complaint is it is very, very short. I'm not sure exactly how short, but it feels like it's about 40 seconds long or like 30 seconds long. It's very short for how long you typically have to wait for it. This typically has like one of the longest lines in the park, and again, one of the shortest rides in the park. So I was disappointed by that. It feels incredibly short. But what it does offer is fun. Again, there was a lot more thrill to it than I expected. It's still a family coaster, but it's definitely on the more thrilling end of family coasters I've ridden, which I didn't expect. There's some moments that really kind of throw you side to side and give you some unique sensations. The whole fake track thing doesn't really do anything for me outside. Sorry, I'm really close to a waterfall. I should probably walk away from the waterfall. The fake track thing doesn't really do anything for me in the outdoor portions, but there is a short kind of dark ride portion halfway through where there's like a near collision with another like cart, and then you dive off of the track that you're on, and then you kind of bounce back and forth between two tracks as like cannons get shot at you or something. And that's actually pretty convincing because that part's indoors. And it looks terribly unconvincing in POVs, but what happens when you're on the ride is it's so bright outside that then you go into that dark room, your eyes haven't fully adjusted yet, so then you can't see the fake track. So even though it comes across on video, in real life, your eyes don't have time to adjust. And then the effect ends up being really convincing because of that. So yeah, it's good. It's good. I struggle waiting that long for it because it's such a short ride. So I'd like to do it again at some point, but it's up to like a 3-hour line now, so I'm not waiting for it again right this second. But
Alright, I just got a power up band. These are $45, which is kind of a lot, but it's how you interact with some of the interactive stuff in the Nintendo area. Very random unboxing, just wherever I can find space. Yeah, you just pull it out here. Oh, that's interesting. Works like a snap bracelet. Didn't expect that. Yeah, that's it.
yeah, so that was one of the main things touted with Super Nintendo World, is you use these to interact with things, and that chooses your team. So I'm on Team Donkey Kong. I don't know what that did. It played a fun sound though. Okay, so you collect stamps in the app as you interact with certain things, and you try to collect them all by interacting with everything. It's a stage where the Donkey Kong meet and greet happens. It doesn't look like it's happening today. I don't really care. The treehouse is super cool. I love that. Wait. I got one of the letters. I don't know what I just did. Oh. Okay. Yeah, you buy a band for $45. You interact with things and you score points when you do that. It's kind of neat. I've never been like huge at interactive stuff like that in theme parks. I appreciate them for the groups of people that like them, but it's usually not my thing, but I figured I'd try it out since I am such a big Nintendo fan personally. And I don't know how long any of these effects will work, because my experience is most interactive effects like this, after a couple years, they stop working. So this may be one of my only chances to see all this stuff working. But anyways. Wow. gift shop. Wow, I'm not gonna spend much time in here because I don't really care about gift shops, but very visually interesting. So all 3 rides in Super Nintendo World currently have the 3 longest waits in the park. Yes, that's right, Yoshi currently has a longer line than Harry Potter. So I'm gonna come back to Super Nintendo World later. For now, I wanted to eat lunch too, so I thought I'd just eat at the restaurant in there and see if things were any better when I came out. But they said it's about a 90-minute wait just to order food at the restaurant too. So it's just too crowded in there right now. So I'll come back. It can't get any worse than it is now, so. Oh yeah, I forgot there is a Nintendo store outside of Super Nintendo World as I'm leaving. This beautiful fountain. With the Super Mario 64 style coins. Haven't seen those in a while, but yeah, here's what it is. I'll probably take off my power band since I'm outside of that area, and wow. This park is beautiful. And it's nice to be in an area that's less crowded now. Ooh, lots of wide open space here in Celestial Park, which is really nice after being in Super Nintendo World. As great as that area is, especially as a huge Nintendo fan like myself, it's a little tight. It's a little tight, and it's definitely like, probably the most popular area in the park right now, even more popular than the Harry Potter area. I guess just because it's a new IP that hasn't been seen at a park before. So it is just packed. Like I said, 90-minute wait just to order food. So, well, I'll go back there later. I do want to just kind of go around this park and experience each area one by one instead of running between coasters and rides like I normally do. Really wanted a burger from the Toad place, but let's see if I can get into this Meteor Astro Pub here. It said they had burgers on the app. Hopefully it's not too expensive, and hopefully it's not a long line to get seated. We'll see. All right, apparently it's open seating here, so just find a table and order a meat in. Oh my gosh, it's freaking beautiful architecturally. Wow. Wanted to look at Stardust while I ate. You can vaguely see it out there a little bit. All right, just ordered my food. We'll see how long it takes. It is nice to sit down in the air conditioning bit. It's more air conditioned in there. This room's a little bit more of a sunroom, but still air conditioned somewhat. It's nice.
All right, I got a freestyle cup just because it's cool.
But in the app, it has said my order has been successfully delivered like 5 minutes ago, and it never came. So I'm deciding at what point I want to ask somebody.
There we go. All I had to do was complain and it showed up. At least it's a pretty thick patty, I guess. That's cool. They let you choose between fries or side salad with no additional charge for the side salad. That's nice. Even the restroom building is beautiful in Celestial Park. Wow.
All right, update. The bass on these speakers is crazy. So sorry about that, but burger was pretty good. It was a bacon jam burger, like the one. It reminded me a lot of the one I had at Kentucky Kingdom. Very similar, but you know, there's a decent amount of meat on the bun at least. But in terms of the burger quality, it's above your average theme park. Like it's better than like a Six Flags park, but it's also not what you'd expect to get from like a proper burger restaurant. So I thought it was a very middle of the road burger. It is nice they give you an option for a salad though. But yeah, since I ate in Celestial Park here, I'll go ahead and have Celestial Park be the next area that I kind of do. Like I said, I'm gonna do each area at a time, try to do all the rides in each area one at a time and kind of experience each one. So I may not get to everything today, but as I kind of vaguely mentioned before, I do have a second day here later this week, so hopefully I can get anything I missed then. Yeah, doing Celestial Park next is good because that means I get to do Stardust Racers, which I think either this or Harry Potter are my most anticipated rides of this park. So I absolutely love mock rides. I haven't been able to do very much of many of their newer like roller coasters, but Copperhead Strike is one of my favorite launch coasters ever. So I'm so happy we're getting another one in the States and a much larger one. I have no idea what a Celestial Spritz is, but that was on the freestyle machine in there. So I decided that'd be an appropriate thing to try in the Stardust Racers line. Ooh, okay. It's like an orange soda, but like really sour instead of sweet. That's odd. But yeah, this is incredible. It's a beautiful, beautiful ride. Not really much theming going on. Well, I mean, there is theming. It's not really story-based theming. It's just very pretty. I'm not good at describing this, but you can see it, so anyway. I believe it's about a 60-minute wait, which is half of what I waited for Donkey Kong, so. Yeah, so all the single rider lines I've seen when I've passed them have been closed, which is fine. I kind of wanted to go through the whole standby lines on some of the more themed attractions, just so, because you do the single rider line, you skip part of the queue. I've also had bad experiences with some of the single rider lines at Universal literally taking longer than the standby lines. That happened to me a lot at Islands last year. So
we are clear ahead and ready to relaunch your ride vehicle.
Loud announcements. I'm wary of single rider lines is what I'm saying. So, but they've been closed every time I've passed them. I think it's because they're using them, but once they get to a certain number of people in the single rider queue, they close it off. So that way they try to keep the single rider line not longer than the regular line, because that's annoying.
And so I just missed this. Trains stopped on the second launch, like they start off on the second launch, then they launch them from the second launch from a standstill. I didn't get it on camera, but I just watched it happen. That's pretty cool. What's not pretty cool is this wait. Not all the switchbacks are full, but we are walking pretty dang far back here.
At Stardust Racers, we apologize and will keep you informed of further developments.
Just broke down. That's freaking terrifying. There's like literally a Celestial Park gate back there that opens up into a very generic looking overflow queue that looks awful. Oh, glad we're not back there.
Attention all guests. May I have your attention, please? We are currently experiencing a brief delay at Stardust Racers. We apologize and will keep you informed of further developments. Attention all guests. May I have your attention, please? We are currently experiencing a brief delay at...
I wonder where the secret is. It looks like there's supposed to be gates here, but there's not. It's not on the other side either. It's funny.
Attention travelers, for your safety and the safety of those who are running, shoes must be worn at all times while on the ride. Please do not remove your shoes. Removing shoes will cause an interruption to the ride. Thank you for your cooperation and enjoy your race.
Alright, looks like we're about to reach the lockers and they are using metal detectors, so we'll see you on the other side of the ride. Alright, they are done with setting lockers, so that's cool.
All right, first ride on Stardust Racers. Wow, the launches are actually strong. Mock rides can make launches now. It's crazy. Airtime was just as strong as every other mock I've ridden. The only thing is, you only have one inversion, which is that celestial spin like halfway through. It is fantastic, especially the dueling with the other train. However, what I love so much about rides like a ride like Copperhead is how well it balances strong airtime with really nice inversions. And even like Helix, which I did a week and a half ago, my second Mock Rides multi-launch Helix, that's very inversion focused, and I think the inversions on Mock Rides multi-launches are phenomenal. So only having one inversion here does kind of sting. I was hoping I would ride it and be like, man, that's fine without inversions, but I do think it could have gone with 2 or 3 extra inversions thrown in there, maybe 4 inversions on each side, I think would have been fair. But as it is, that's definitely my new favorite coaster in Florida. I like it definitely better than Velocicoaster. I wasn't super huge on Velocicoaster when I rode it last year, so I am going back to Islands tomorrow, so we'll see how I think of Velocicoaster now, but this year, but I do think Stardust is better. Again, that's my new favorite coaster in Florida. It is awesome. The pure hype kind of wore off since you get off the ride, go down, get your stuff out of your locker, etc. So that's why I'm not like super excited anymore. But again, my only critique really is that it could use a couple extra inversions on each side, but what's there is really awesome. Oh, but complaint about today specifically, even though the park is pretty busy today, they're only running 2 trains on each side, so 4 trains total. The ride can run up to 4 trains on each side, 8 trains total. And what's really annoying about that is the ride has a separate load and unload platform. However, they don't have a programming option or a mode to use the front platform as both load and unload. The problem with a load-unload station is it does speed up operations if you're running at least 3 trains or have a very short layout, because then a train has parked behind and unloaded by the time the train in front dispatches, and then an empty train immediately rolls in to load. However, on this case, since it's a long ride and they're only running 2 trains on each side, what ends up happening is a train's already dispatching by the time the other one parks in the unload, so it has to park in the unload, then waste time pulling forward and then loading. So you waste the extra like 5 or 10 seconds, however long it takes for a train to pull from unload to load. You lose that time on every single dispatch. So really for a separate load-unload station like that, you need to be running at least 3 trains, or again, have a really short ride, which this is not. This is a long ride. So they really need to have some kind of mode, which would be a really easy modification. In fact, all you need to do physically is add an extra gate in the front. All the sensors and stuff should be there for a reprogram. But yeah, it definitely needs to be, when they're running 2 trains on each side like this, it definitely needs to be a combined load-unload station, not separate. That is actually slowing them down a lot today. But yeah, but other than the capacity, especially because, it's a pretty busy day today. I know it's a Monday, but it's a Monday in June. Monday during the peak summer season. Just seems weird for Universal Park to only be running 2 trains on each side. Maybe there's a technical issue they're having with running more trains. That's definitely possible. We'll give them the benefit of the doubt on that. But yeah, it's busy enough today that they should be running at least 3 trains on each side, in my opinion. Anyways, I might use the restroom real quick, grab some extra soda, and then hop right back in line to do the other side to get the other credit. Because I forgot, it's 2 sides, so it's 2 credits. So I have an excuse to actually do this ride a second time here. I did the green side that time because it has a reputation for being a little more intense. Personally, I think that's probably bullshit, but we'll see. I'm gonna try the yellow side now. You do get to pick your side, which is nice. Oh, another complaint is that the onboard audio is too quiet. I'm gonna see if that's just the train I was on, but that's definitely the quietest onboard audio I've ever had on a coaster with onboard audio. You could barely hear it. In fact, I think the only reason I could hear it is because I had heard it before, knew what it sounded like, so I could like barely hear it behind me. It was definitely working, but you couldn't really hear it. The coaster itself is loud though. It's definitely the loudest mock coaster I've ever heard. It roars. Oh sweet, it's down to 35 minutes now. That's great. Oh sweet, I don't know what the hell happened, but the whole queue is empty now. Nice. Okay, yeah, so I think yellow side is just as good, I'm gonna be honest. I think the reason most people prefer green is because when you start the celestial spin on green, flips over first on the way up. So you get a much faster, more aggressive flip up. But then on yellow, you get kind of a fun airtime pop up into it. Then you fall down into the inversion. So the beginning of it's kind of slower and then it speeds up at the bottom. So I think they're both good for different reasons. But I wouldn't necessarily say right now I prefer one track over the other. Just kind of finishing up, walking around Celestial Park a little bit, taking in all these beautiful views. It's really one of the most beautiful central areas I've seen in any park ever. Honestly, I could be content just to like walk around. Just walk around this park and not ride anything. Obviously, I do want to get the rest of the rides in. Hopefully, I can get most of them today, or a good number of them today, and finish up the rest the next day I'm here later this week. But yeah, it's just so nice just to walk around here. So if you're not familiar with the layout here, there's the front gate where we came in, and if you go left, there's Nintendo up here in the carousel. And if you keep going around that way, it'll go by the entrance to the Monsters area. I forget exactly what it's called, but it's the biggest Constellation Carousel. It's a giant carousel. It's the biggest queue I have ever seen for a carousel. There is a Nintendo store in the main area here too. So I'll go in there a little later. Since I'm a Nintendo guy, Nintendo nerd. There's a pizza restaurant, and then it kind of opens up into more plaza here. There's the carousel, which apparently is a pretty cool carousel. I don't know, I'll do it in a minute probably. That's like the most expensive on-site hotel that I think Universal has, but it's literally on-site here, but it does cost way too much. Got a live band playing over there, which is cool. Honestly, Celestial Park here is a lot larger than I thought it was. It's probably about the size of all four of the individual lands combined. It is a huge central area here, which is nice. It helps with crowd flow a lot. And it's just pretty. I can just walk around here and look at stuff, you know? It says Oaken Star Tavern. Yeah, so there are large restaurants kind of flanking the edges of Celestial Park near the entrances to the portals. So if the themed restaurants in the areas have too long of waits, my experience is that so far has been these usually have much shorter waits. There's the entrance to the Monsters themed area. I feel like all the portals have these giant like LED screens wrapping around them, showing cool portal-y graphics. This park is very large, but at the same time very small. Like, it's hard to exactly describe what it feels to walk around. And there's very little shade in the middle here. There's this giant fountain display right in front of the hotel. So that's neat. I know it does a show, I believe, at nighttime. That's apparently pretty cool. You can see this kind of seating all around there. You can just sit and watch the fountains. You're pretty close to that hotel there. It is literally inside the park. I will say this is not that much of a negative. It's just an observation. The placement of the portals is a little strange. Like, they're not all symmetrical. They're on the four corners of the park, but they're not all like symmetrical. So, like, you can see the Harry Potter portal back there is like behind this restaurant here, which is a little strange. It's kind of tucked back there. The one for Dark Universe was like kind of off center. The sight lines are interesting because you can see lots of random things from in the center of the park here. Like, you can see tops of the buildings from Nintendo World kind of poking up there, and some kind of ugly walls that I guess look like they're trying to hide it, but not doing a great job. I think some of it's fine. Like, you can see Frankenstein Manor over there. It kind of fits in with the facade for Dark Universe there, so it kind of makes that area, you know, it works. It works. And I'd say the same thing for whatever the tall structure is sticking up in Burke. I forget. But then, like, here for the Harry Potter area, you can kind of see, you can't tell on camera very well, but you can kind of clearly see like the backs of building facades where they're unthemed, just the backs of buildings from here, and that's a little bit weird. Again, I don't find that to be all that negative. Universal's always kind of been like that. Even in like the Harry Potter area and Islands, I remember from last year, you can distinctly see the Forbidden Journey show building back there. They don't even try to really hide it. So Universal's always not really cared about sightlines as much, which is, I don't really care. They do such a good job with theming and presentation that it doesn't bother me that much. It's just an observation. Yeah, there's where I ate lunch today, so we've now kind of done a full circle of this area of the park. Looks like they turned the splash pad off right as we were getting to like the hottest part of the day today. I'm not sure why they did that. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and go do Constellation Carousel now. Because again, I'm gonna do everything here, so it doesn't really matter the order that much. It is getting a little late in the day, but I have another day here later this week, and I can really hit the ground running then if I need to. I should probably not walk on the splash pad in case it starts up. It says a 30-minute wait for the carousel in the app, but it didn't look like there were that many people in line, so I'm thinking maybe they just didn't update the app. I don't know, but this might be about the longest I've ever waited for a carousel. But like I said, at this point, I'm doing each area one at a time. We're doing Celestial Park here, and we have Stardust Racers, which is the more exciting thing. So this is the other ride in this area. Yeah, pity whoever waits in this full queue for a carousel. But yeah, this looks like maybe 20 minutes. I don't know how long their loading procedure is. It seemed to be pretty bad. So we will find out. Still waiting for Constellation Carousel. Apparently that was a good move, maybe, because apparently there's lightning in the area, so all of the outdoor stuff is closed, but not the carousel because it's covered, so it can operate in the storm, but everything else outdoor is closed. This is one of the only rides at Epic Universe that lets you film on ride with your phone. So we'll get a little Constellation Carousel POV here. We do have like a car seatbelt, just a lap belt. It's a little odd, but it is what it is. A lot of regional theme park carousels have those now too.
When the ride completely stops, unbuckle your seatbelt from right to left. Watch your step as you exit your vehicle and have a great day in Celestial Park.
Yeah, it was good. Wait there was actually posted at 35 minutes, and I waited about 20 minutes, which was kind of what I predicted actually. So apparently I'm better at guessing wait times than Universal is. It was much more fun than I expected it to be. I had watched some POVs of that beforehand, and I thought it looked pretty boring, so I thought it was going to be kind of like, whatever. But when you're actually on it, it's definitely a lot more interesting. As you saw, it's not like your traditional carousel. So the horses or the different animals actually spin in a circle, and if you're one of the ones like where I was, there's certain platforms where the platform also spins. Kind of hard to explain, but I'm sure you saw it there and you could see what was going on. That probably made more sense than me explaining it, but yeah, I found that to be pretty fun. You got some kind of cool visuals with how that pavilion's set up, some nice music. So yeah, overall it was nice. It's a very good supporting attraction, I think. I definitely enjoyed it a lot more than I thought I would. I'll definitely do that again later if it has a short wait and everything else has a long wait. It's definitely, again, a great supporting attraction to just kind of hop on when you're in between other rides if it has a short wait. I do want to try to do a night ride maybe on it. Obviously, I'm prioritizing getting night ride on Stardust Racers, but I've heard that's a pretty cool night ride as well because of it's got like a whole color light show going on under there. So we'll see if I got time for that. Anyways, it appears that everything outdoors is currently on a weather delay. So I'm gonna head to the only area that has no outdoor attractions, which of course is Harry Potter. Ministry of Magic, I think is what they're calling it. The main area is like Wizarding Paris from the Fantastic Beasts films that I have not watched. I've watched the first one, but it's been a very long time and I don't think they showed Paris in it. So I'm gonna be very unfamiliar with most of what we see here, but you know, it's Harry Potter stuff. So the main ride there is themed after the Ministry of Magic, British Ministry of Magic, and has the Harry Potter characters from the films. They know when they were doing this area that most people didn't really like the Fantastic Beasts films, so they tried to do a Fantastic Beasts area, but then still made the flagship attraction, you know, the thing people actually like. But Ooh, smell some smells. Either we're right next to a restaurant or they're pumping some smells into this area, but wow. This is probably the biggest facade of any area. Oh my gosh. Just looks like a city back there. That's it. I kind of just feel like I'm literally in Europe. They literally just built full-on city blocks in here. It's awesome. Definitely some forced perspective going on with the stuff in the back there, but still very cool nonetheless. Wow. I'm very unfamiliar with the setup of this area. I'm gonna go right here. Okay, it looks like the ride is to the left, but I'll go to the right here. You get a lot of stores, which is what these Harry Potter areas are usually kind of the most known for outside of the rides. They always have a lot of cool stores with wizarding stuff. All the way back here kind of dead ends. I do know that there was originally supposed to be 2 rides in this area, but they cut one of them out last minute due to budgetary reasons. There's supposed to be the one we got, and then we were supposed to also get one that was Fantastic Beasts based. I'm gonna guess that was supposed to go back here, because otherwise this is kind of a dead end. I did see from Stardust, there is still a giant empty plot of land directly behind this building here. So maybe we do still get that ride at some point, maybe as a future expansion, I don't know. There's the queue line for Arcanus. I'm definitely mispronouncing that, but that is the show for this area. First area I've walked through that has a show. I think the only 2 shows in the park are this, in the Harry Potter area, and there's also a show in Burke. But I think those are the only 2 actual shows in this park, which is interesting. You'd think for a park like this there would be more of a focus on shows, but just those 2. I would certainly like to do them, but they're a lot harder because of course you have to plan around specific times, which I can do at like Dollywood because it's my home park. But at other parks when I don't have much, I'm just visiting, once every couple of years, it makes it kind of hard to plan around specific shows. So I end up really not doing them, but we'll see what I end up able to do. Oh, butterbeer. How did I forget? I do need some butterbeer. I need butterbeer every day this week. Okay, that's what we're doing. Yeah, I'm gonna grab some butterbeer. Hopefully this doesn't take too long, and then brave the 2-hour line for Battle at the Ministry. But that's probably my second most anticipated ride behind Stardust, so I'm excited.
That's frozen.
No, I'll hold it for you.
So good it should be illegal. It's really a sugar overload in the best way possible. Anyways, 2 hours for Battle at the Ministry. That's actually shorter than a Mario Kart right now. Mario Kart's 175. The Ministry here's 120, so I'll take it, I guess. I don't know. All right, first part of the queue here, I already feel air conditioning. That's gonna be really nice today. It's bad enough for going into this like outdoor overflow that I didn't even know existed. That's wonderful. Oh my lord. Huge in there. Crap.
The queue line that just keeps going. This queue just is never ending.
Was doing Antiquity would never tell, even if she did know. Especially if it involved her.
Right along that wall. Oh, they're mine. How many do I have here? How many? 7? Okay, perfect.
Alright. Okay, look, let me be honest. I thought this ride was going to be totally overhyped the way people that were talking about it. I said I was going to avoid spoilers for this park, but I did break down and watch a POV of this because I just had to know. And I saw the POVs and I was like, there's no way it's as good as people are saying. You have to actually be on the ride. That definitely, that is the best dark ride I've ever ridden. I think it takes over. It's very close, but I do think it's better than Forbidden Journey for me, which is saying a lot because I'm a Forbidden Journey obsessive.
It's been a while since I've gotten up and around and I'm like actually shaking. It's so good. Alright, and we exit back through the atrium here.
It's kind of annoying the exit's right next to the queue line here, so I don't want to say anything that might be a spoiler right next to the queue line, so hold on.
Okay, surprisingly, the first exit for the gift shop of the day. Interesting. About to be more of that.
Okay, so I guess I'll start with negatives, because there weren't that many, really. The design language could be a little boring, because you're literally just in ministry passages the whole time, which all kind of look the same. It's a lot of just dark brick, so a lot of the screens are also just, everything just seems kind of gray and dark and washed out, because that's just the ministry. So it's significantly less visually interesting than something like Forbidden Journey from like number of colors perspective. There's also a lot more than I expected of where you can see different ride mechanics and how, you know, how different things are held up. You can see the track that the vehicles run on. You can see other vehicles on their motion-based and stuff like that. You can see that stuff a lot more than I thought you'd be able to. Yeah, that might be about it for the negatives, really. A few of the screens did look a little bit blurry to me, but that might just be, like I said, the gray color palette that everything has there. I think the movement of the vehicle was just the most impressive part. It really felt like it was floating. There were several sections where it feels like it's dropping. I don't know if it's actually dropping, and then I'll combine with the fact that you literally just have like a lap car seat belt on. That's the restraint system. So you really get thrown around a lot more than you would in a ride type like that with a proper restraint. So yeah, very much more thrilling than I expected. And the way it combines with all the screens as well. It feels like you're moving really, really fast, but you're not. It's really good motion simulation is what I'm saying. It is a decently long ride. That being said, it feels short. Like, I know objectively it's a long ride, but it's very fast-paced. Like, the beginning kind of starts out slower, but then once it picks up, it feels so fast-paced that it's kind of hard to tell what's going on, which I guess is kind of normal for the Harry Potter rides, but still.
This area really feels like it's cleared out a lot, but that may just because everybody's in line for Ministry, which now has a 3-hour wait.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and head out of this area now. So I'm gonna save the rest of the Harry Potter area to do on Thursday or Friday whenever I come back. Unfortunately, the weather still has not gone away. There was apparently a pop-up thunderstorm while I was in the building. I didn't even know. I just saw on a radar that for a little bit there was a storm directly on top of us. So it was storming out here while I was on Battle at the Ministry. So unfortunately now all the outdoor attractions still on weather delay, which is a good number, but there's still a lot of indoor attractions here. So what I'm actually gonna do is try to head over to Burke. Even though all their rides are outdoors, again, they have the park's other main show, the Untrainable Dragon, which I've heard is incredible, and I've somehow completely avoided spoilers for it, like completely. So I think the next showing is in like 15 or 20 minutes. So we'll see if there's space in the theater I can slip in there. I'm getting kind of tired, so it will be nice to kind of sit down for a bit and do that. I'm really hoping I do get to do Harry Potter again, either Thursday or Friday, whenever I come back, because I'm saying it's the best dark in the world, just based off kind of the shock factor of, you know, it was so much better than I expected it to be. But I do kind of want to ride it again to get a better feel of it, now that I kind of know what it's going to be like, if that makes any sense. And really, so then I can really like properly assess it. Because it's kind of hard to sometimes to assess rides off of one ride, especially when you're in shock for half of it. All right, one of the two areas I have not gone in today, Isle of Burke. If you asked me last year what my most anticipated area would be, it would probably be this one. But then for some reason I just kind of got less excited about it as time goes on. But hopefully it's great. Oh my gosh. Oh my lord.
Yeah, every night. That's their like closure show.
Ooh, wow. This is literally like the Super Nintendo World level of just like perfect reveal. Harry Potter didn't quite have this kind of epic reveal moment, in my opinion. That looks great. Welcome to Burke. Oh, look, there's sheep on the hill. Oh yeah. Look at them. Oh, this actually be a great place to get off-ride footage of Stardust. But it's not running because of weather delay. Just like Hiccup's Wing Gliders, the collection attraction for this area. It's an intimate family multi-launch. Looks pretty good. Obviously not running. It's pretty impressive looking. Kind of weaves around this whole left side of the land here, which is neat. I love how they have the water set up here and everything. Really great. Wow. I know there's a lot of forced perspective going on the mountain back there, but very impressive nonetheless. Little playground for the youngins over here. Okay, I don't actually remember where the entrance to the show is. Oh look, the Untrainable Dragon. They're right. Wow. Like they know people like me are stupid and can't find their way around. Take a wild shot in the dark here and say that it's that really, really big warehouse-looking building over there. And if so, that is a massive theater. It may just be kind of the perspective, because perspective can mess with stuff a lot, but this does look like twice as large as Dollywood's largest theater, which is a park that's really known for shows. Yeah, I've heard nothing but really great things about the Untrainable Dragon here, so I'm kind of excited to check this out. I guess they haven't let anybody in yet. It's only like 9 minutes till the show, but it's the last show of the night, so they wouldn't be letting us in here if this wasn't fully set up 15 shows. I don't know. I need some excitement. There we go. Alright, from quite possibly the best dark ride I've ever ridden to almost certainly the best theme park show I've ever watched. That was incredible. Unfortunately, I had hoped that while I was in there watching the show that, you know, we were a bit past the weather and stuff would start opening back up, but unfortunately it appears that another storm cell has popped up while I was in there, so things were like starting to test when I went into that show, and I'm back out, everything's on weather delay again. And there is a very black cloud directly above us. So again, I really wanted to kind of experience each area one by one, so I did kind of want to ride the rest of the attractions in Burke, but they are all outdoor. All 3 of them are outdoor rides that are not operating because lightning in the area. So I guess that we're not doing that right now. But that show, the Untrainable Dragon, was crazy. They did ask us not to film inside, and I usually am completely respectful of that. Whenever they ask not to film during a show at any park, I typically don't. But when they got to that scene with the Hiccup flying, the literal actor for Hiccup riding a giant toothless around the entire theater on the boom, I saw like 25% of the theater get their phones out to record. I was like, yeah, why not? Clearly like a quarter of the people in here are doing it. We're not getting kicked out or anything, so I didn't record anything else to be respectful, but that scene was crazy.
The whole rest of this area does look incredible, though. I can't wait to come back and re-experience more of it when, you know, all the rides are open, so.
Anyways, the bathrooms in Burke have a really cool like tile mural on the wall. They're otherwise pretty unthemed. I thought they would be more themed, like the ones in Nintendo World or something. They're pretty generic bathrooms, but there is a cool dragon tile mural on the wall, so that's something.
I'm back out of Burke now.
Anyways, it's about 7:50 right now, so a little bit over an hour till the park closes at 9. It is annoying that it closes at 9. Islands of Adventure is open until 10 all week. Actually, Islands hours are like flopped. Here it's 10 to 9 all week. Islands is 9 to 10 all week, which would be great for going to Islands, but yeah, it's weird that Islands is open 2 hours longer than Epic, but is what it is. I really wish they were open until 10, since they touted this being such a like great nighttime park, but it's only gonna get dark for like 30 minutes before the park closes. Anyways, point is we're an hour out for close, and I just looked, and Battle with the Ministry already says it is at capacity for the night, which is quite interesting. Universal, in my experience, Universal typically does not close queues early. They typically do more of the Cedar Fair, Hershend, whoever else approach where they don't close the queue till closing time, and as long as you're in the queue, you get a ride, which leads to some interesting situations like Fury 325 during Scarewinds. You can get in the queue at midnight and then ride at like 1:30. You'll still have like a 90-minute wait at the end of the night, but anyways, I guess they're not exactly doing that here at Epic. I assume rides with like a 30-minute wait, they'll probably leave open until close. But I guess Harry Potter, last time I checked, it had about a 3-hour wait. So yeah, closing that an hour early, get everybody through the line by 2 hours after close. I understand why they would want to do that, but anyways, point is with the storm coming in, the only things open right now are the Carousel, which I've already done, Monsters Unchained, and what is it, Mario Kart.
So I have to stop for a second and admire this. Very pretty.
Nothing really compares to being here in person. Like, I can take as many videos as I want, and I've watched plenty of videos before coming here. I watched a ton of coverage of this park before coming here, and it just, I mean, any park, any ride looks different in person than it does like in videos and pictures and stuff. But this park especially, like, you gotta come here to see how pretty it is, just how, yeah, like I can't, no picture or video is gonna show fully what I'm seeing right now. But the point I keep trying to get to is that the only things, since Battle with the Ministry is at capacity, the only things open right now are Carousel, Monsters Unchained, and Mario Kart. Mario Kart's current posted wait time is longer than the park will be open. The park's only open for about another hour, 10 minutes. Mario Kart's posted at, I think, 100 minutes. And I do really want to try to get a night ride on Stardust Racers if the weather clears up. So I'm going to leave at least like a 15-minute gap at the end of the night that I can go over to Stardust if I want to. If the weather does not pass and Stardust does not reopen, hopefully I can get a night ride Thursday or Friday when I come back, and I'll just watch the nighttime spectacular here, because I do want to see that as well, and that starts at 9, right at park closing time.
Natural conclusion to everything I just said is that I'm going into Dark Universe for the first time today. So after this, I will have been into all the lands. This is the last one I haven't gone in yet today. So let's go. Okay, it's a little bit of a tight entry area, but I like the aesthetic. I like the vibe. Right, there you go. You gotta kind of come around the corner here, and wow. So people were making a big deal online about how this is the smallest area
Which, like, yeah, it is, but it still has the scale. It's still really nice. It's super well themed. There are a lot of small theme park areas that are really cool. And this isn't even the smallest I've seen, so. So Monsters Unchained's posted at only about 35 minutes. It's been pretty short all day. So, and maybe I can even do it twice. It's strange. This ride seems to have like one of the shortest waits in the park all the time. I've been kind of watching the wait times before coming here in the last couple weeks. Obviously, it's a very high capacity ride, just like Forbidden Journey. But yeah, it's weird. It seems to just have a 20 to 30 minute wait all the time, even when the park's other dark rides are like 2 or 3 hours. It's just not that popular. I guess because it's not based on a pre-existing IP like Harry Potter or Mario Kart. But I still would have thought this would draw more crowds than it does. But I'm excited to check it out. Feel the air conditioning blowing out of here. It's great. Is this the queue? Or did it say exit? So I was confused. But anyways. Moves really fast. First pre-show.
In one piece. But Egon, I hear you say, where's the fun in that? I agree, you delightful freak. Sadly, this is not that kind of experiment. Look closely. This is a catacombs navigation unit. All your little lab rats and your little lab rat friends get to ride one. Use it, Igor steers, nothing goes wrong.
This discovery yet. Together, we will finish what my great-grandfather started. I'm afraid of what you've done. But you will see. There's nothing to fear. Show them. And once done, blow the lights. Now. These people are friends. Count Dracula. Call yourself! That wasn't us.
Silence, creature! I will destroy you and everything!
These two just don't get along. Quickly!
You can't see because it's too dark, but there are literally just some temporary walls set up there where the animatronic people.
Please don't.
Oh, already at the lockers. I don't think there's metal detectors here though, so. Okay, I think no metal detectors, so hopefully I can climb up on the bicycle.
Rest at all times. Hold on to shoulder restraints at all times. No photography will suddenly accelerate. Stop, turn, spin, climb, and drop. For your safety, do not take part in this demonstration if you are experiencing any of the following.
The grouper said he liked my Voyage shirt, and we talked about Holiday World for a while, and he complained about how he can never get tickets for Hollywood Nights, and I'm like, me too. And that was cool. had nothing to do with the ride, but.
So I meant to complain about this at Stardust because it uses the same system, the lockers. So they use a photo, like it takes a picture of your face to validate the lockers instead of like a ticket that the other two parks do. In theory, that's great. In practice, it is infuriating. You have to like angle your head like absolutely perfectly in order to get it to register your face. And you can see somebody trying right now. Yeah, he got it faster than I normally do.
It is absolutely just terrible. You know, because with the old system, it was, you had like a paper ticket, you would just scan and it would open your locker immediately. Now you gotta just stand there for like 5 minutes. I'm exaggerating, but it's really, really annoying. It never works right. It never works right. It didn't on either of my Stardust rides, it didn't just now. It's terrible. Anyways.
Yeah, look, it's starting to get dark out here about 30 minutes before park close. It's definitely darker in real life than it is on camera. It is something with, for some reason, my phone camera always makes things look brighter than they are, but...
Unfortunately, I don't think the weather delay is over yet, so I don't think a Stardust Racers night ride is going to happen tonight, unfortunately.
I could go again because it's only a 25-minute wait.
As good as that ride was, I don't really want to waste my nighttime time right now on an indoor ride, you know, because, you know, why would you do that?
We should run from it. You can say, no, you can say. Johnny ran to find a friend. They ran to find a wild wolf was attacking Danny. And the other was the fortune teller who had been struck on the head by a heavy cane. Calvin came. The people from the cab turned to him suspiciously. It wasn't me, cried Calvin. The wolf, he said. He meant me too, here in the chest. Calvin tore open his shirt to show them, but there was nothing there.
Dude, the performers here are so good all over the park. There are not as many of them as I thought there were going to be. But like we saw some like, I guess that's jazz, I don't know. Music people are probably gonna get mad at me for using the wrong words. But the brass players, maybe jazz, in the Harry Potter area, those were just really good instrumental performers regardless of anything else. And then she was telling a really dramatic story, doing a great job of it. You know, all good stuff.
Yeah, it's getting dark pretty fast. It's gonna be like actually dark like 2 minutes before the park closes, so yeah. So yeah, I'm gonna use the restroom real quick and then kind of sit around, walk around maybe Celestial Park a little bit.
Really take in Celestial Park at night, maybe some other areas of the park if we can. Just kind of see what the park looks like at night and be back over at Astronomica here at closing time to see that nighttime spectacular. It looks like there's still a decent amount of seating left around there, so hopefully that won't be a big problem. I think a lot of people started leaving the park when it was clear nothing was going to reopen. I just saw more lightning. Dang it. Yeah, if I see Stardust Racers open up, I'm going to bolt over there to try to get a night ride, but that's probably not happening, unfortunately. It is what it is. They can't control the weather, and for safety reasons, you can't run rides when there's lightning nearby. I get it, but it kind of sucks. Might just head over to Super Nintendo World real quick because I hear that's pretty cool at night, the way it's lit up. But yeah, Monsters Unchained. Okay, so lots of things. I have a lot to say. Very good ride, but I do agree with a lot of the reviews of people saying that there's a lot of weird, way more than Ministry. There's a lot of really weird, like, non-set piece things you can see. And more alarmingly to me, there's many points where the vehicle will, like, point specifically at useless things. Because, you know, it's on the KUKA arm system, like Forbidden Journey, so they can move you exactly where they want you to be. And I counted 3 different times on that ride where the arm would stick you, like, directly in, like, a curtain. And not a curtain, like a theming curtain, like an actual, like, just a curtain that separates, like, a backstage area from the rest of the ride. With like enough light that you can see the curtain. It's bizarre. And it's weird because half of that ride is extremely immersive. Half of that ride is so well detailed you cannot see a single like sign that you were anywhere other than in the catacombs below this friggin' mansion thing. And then like 30 seconds later it will like shove you in the face of a curtain with a clearly visible catwalk and some, I don't know, extension cords hanging down that they were using to work on stuff last night. It's very bizarre. Other than that, it's a really fantastic dark ride. I love the KUKA arm system. I still think Forbidden Journey is probably a little bit of a better implementation personally, but I loved how many, this was much more focused on physical sets. And whenever screens were used, they were used in conjunction with the physical sets. It was never just looking at a screen. Lots of animatronics, which I think is really cool. Most of them were working, except for the Victoria Frankenstein at the beginning of the ride. That was really weird, because there's like no B mode for that. So the vehicle just like faces right to Frankenstein. You hear her voice, and the animatronic was just frozen there. So that was odd, but everything else seemed to be working. Lots of cool effects. There's some fire effects. Yeah, I love that.
First, we're gonna see how pretty Super Nintendo World is at night here. Actually 9 minutes until park closing. It is the shortest line I've ever seen in Mario Kart. But gonna save that one for next time.
Again, don't want to waste my nighttime time on an indoor ride.
There's something really satisfying about walking around this park and just punching random blocks. Start of the day and about at the end of the day here. Wow. Well, I couldn't find the O earlier. I guess I'm just actually stupid. This is the last letter I need. Let's see. Fun sound.
For a second there, I thought they were letting people into the queue for Donkey Kong. Well, they were, but the ride's still closed. Just some people wanted to see the queue, so they're offering, if you want to see the queue, you can go look at the queue, but the ride's not open for weather, which is really nice. I will say, I know Disney and Universal both kind of have a reputation for this, but all of the staff are amazing here and very accommodating with things like that. Even though the park is incredibly crowded, you can tell most of them are trying to make sure everybody has a good time and going out of their way and doing things you wouldn't normally expect at a park like this. Anyways, I'll do more of the interactive stuff here in Super Nintendo World next time I'm here in a couple days. There's a lot more like actually truly interactive stuff in here in this front area. Some of the stuff I was doing was just like grabbing collectibles to like score points in the app for your team or whatever. Team Donkey Kong. All right, I got like 2 minutes to get back over there.
Something I would not have known if somebody hadn't pointed it out to me. Every single portal and then the front gate all have spotlights that shoot out. They're really hard to see on camera, but they all meet in the middle there. That's awesome.
Right. The time has come for the chronos to align. Across the cosmos, the energy of every portal will soon ignite as Celestial Park bids you goodnight.
Oh wait, Constellation Carousel is not showing closed. I wonder if I can get my net right on that on the way out. That'd be cool. Okay, yeah, it does appear to still be open. So that's pretty cool.
All right, so I'll get at least one proper night ride. It'll be on the carousel. But I do appreciate that they're leaving this open even, it's like 20 minutes after close now, and they are still letting people in the queue actively.
Jumbo for margaritas. Oh my god.
Attention all guests. Welcome to the Constellation Carousel. Each animal carries one or two.
All right, sorry, I'm speed walking. While I was on Constellation Carousel, they reopened Stardust Racers. 35 minutes after park closing, they opened it back up. Again, I'm guessing they're just trying to make up for the fact that all the outdoor rides were closed for like 5 hours tonight due to a storm that never actually arrived. So this is nice. I got another great shirt. I got two great shirts. Both people at the entrance of Stardust said Voyage is their favorite wood coaster too. I'm getting a lot of that today. It's a nice shirt, isn't it? It's a pretty full queue, but I do appreciate them opening it back up after closing.
All guests, for your safety and for the safety of those around you, loose articles are strictly prohibited on Stardust Racers. Please ensure that all loose articles, including bags,
Sorry, it's loud in here. Stardust Racers at night. Transcendent experience. Obviously, it's closed now. No second night ride. But like, holy shit. Crazy awesome that Universal opened up this ride. Again, they opened this ride up 30 minutes after the park had already closed. I guess just because of the weather delay earlier to help make up for that. I got in line. Had to wait about an hour for that night ride. Like, totally worth it. I would have waited 2 hours for that. That was amazing. Hands down, that's Universal's best coaster. I think the best coaster in Orlando too. I haven't been to Disney in a while, so I haven't done Guardians or anything like that, but I doubt those that'll come anywhere close. Also have not been to Busch Gardens Tampa, so I can't say, You know, I haven't ridden Iron Glossy, but it was definitely the best coaster in Orlando for me. Wow. Yes, the park closed at 9. It is currently 10:21. I guess that's what happens when you open up random rides late, but I really do appreciate them doing that. Okay, so I kind of didn't eat dinner. I figured I would grab something when I got back to the hotel, but I think the hotel restaurant closes, like it will be closed by the time I get there. And it looks like all the quick service places here have closed for the night, which is to be expected. It's an hour and a half after closing, but I'm like, I guess I'm not eating tonight. I guess I'm eating tomorrow morning, which is fine, I guess. Well, that was pretty crazy. Just like all of that, everything that just happened today.
All right, it looks like Endless Summer is to the left. And to the right is those. It's been a while since I've been to like a resort this big, where it's like, look at how many bus bays we have to have for all the different hotels or parks that you could be traveling to.
That was a great day. I'm sure I still have a lot to say. There were some mini review things I didn't quite get to. Let's see if I can run through some of those real fast. I said I didn't really finish up with the Untrainable Dragon, the show in Burke. That was like pretty much perfect. That was, I don't know. In my opinion, that was, the only critique I could possibly have is that the story felt like, I don't know, not super real. It felt not super realistic and very simplistic. But everything else about the show was like perfect. I would not change anything about that one.
And there's the bus bay, the second one back for Surfside and Dockside. So I guess it's one bus that goes to both. Interesting. I just got dropped back off at 11 p.m. at the hotel.
But I'm gonna go, there's a open 24/7 Walgreens that's kind of like catty cornered to the Endless Summer here. So I need to go over there and grab a few things I forgot to grab from home, but maybe I can grab a little snack while I'm there too. Might as well. Yeah, anyways, it's very dark, but back to the quick reviews. Yeah, so Untrainable Dragon, definitely my new favorite theme park show. Monsters Unchained, again, I want to like it more than I did. Just some of the, like, unimmersive bits, if you will, kind of, I don't know, just kind of left a bad taste in my mouth. Especially the multiple moments that the ride vehicle was, like, intentionally faced directly towards like curtains and catwalks and things where there was, again, nothing else to look at. Like, it just shove you up against a curtain, and it's like, it seems the ride is nowhere near as popular as Universal expected it to be. And so because of that, the queue configuration, the pre-shows and everything kind of have to be rushed through. It's odd.
Here's Dockside, here's Surfside, there's Walgreens. So it is right there, but you have to cross this ridiculous intersection. So, but yeah, if you do need to grab something real quick while you're staying in the summer, Walgreens is right there if you can brave this. They got like Universal stuff. Well, it's not Universal Park merch, but that kind of stuff at Walgreens. I love that they have this like sidewalk through the parking lot, through the grass, back up to the road. Like, yeah, they know people are coming over here from these hotels.
There's a decent number of people walking around here for the fact it's 11:30. I have to keep reminding myself it's 11:30. I need to go to bed. Was I still talking about Monsters Unchained? I don't even remember. It's a good ride, but you can definitely tell it was intended to be much more popular than it is. So we'll see what happens as time goes on. I think it's because there's no like popular IP attached to it, but we'll see.
Okay, it looked like this was a gate you could go in, but it's actually the Back in Time Garden. Question mark.
Another random odd note with Monsters Unchained is that the over-shoulder restraints are actually pneumatic instead of ratcheting. On Forbidden Journey, they're ratcheting. If you're on Surfside, you can just go right in on that street. And Dockside, you gotta walk all the way around because they have the fence all the way around. It's kind of annoying. Yeah, overall, that was an incredible experience today. I'm sure I'll have more in-depth thoughts on the rides a little later. But it was all great. It was all excellent. Of course, things didn't go exactly as planned the whole day, but that never happens, especially not at a park of this size. I'm really satisfied with what I was able to get done today. And I got done over half the attractions in the park. So hopefully on my next visit, I'll be able to finish the rest up that I wasn't able to do today. So I'm already excited about that. And I would say that's probably, I'm trying to make sure I'm not just letting hype take over, you know, but I would say that's probably my new favorite Universal park. Islands of Adventure is still very strong, and I'm going there tomorrow, so I'll let you know, but
the pool does look cool down there. I'll say that. This is definitely not nutritious for dinner, but eh. I'm going to Islands tomorrow, I was saying, so I can kind of directly compare them day to day, but I think I do kind of prefer Epic. It just has a more consistent overall vibe, theme, whatever you want to call it. It's all brand new, so there's no like weird abandoned empty areas like Islands has in a few spots. Nothing's really run down, so some of it is because it's brand new, but I think I'd prefer Epic somewhat. We'll see for sure tomorrow though. I was also worried with Epic Universe, the way it's set up with the portals and everything. I was worried it would feel a little disjointed or like disconnected. I'm happy to say that that wasn't the case at all, at least not for me when I was there. Celestial Park is a really strong central area to tie everything together and to just be a nice space to pass through as you're passing between lands. And the park in terms of land area is also not quite as large as I thought, so it's pretty easy to cross between different areas. And again, Celestial Park is just a really nice area to walk through when you're going between them. And it's much easier to walk between the individual areas than I thought that it would be. So I would not use the word disjointed by any means. I'll just say that park, at least for me, was just as incredible as it was hyped up to be. I don't want to overhype it for other people though. That is something I'm concerned about, I guess you could say. Because like, again, it is an amazing park, but I think with the way some people talk about it, people are going to build up completely unrealistic expectations that no theme park could live up to. So just be wary of that. But as long as you kind of add a healthy dose of realism to what I'm saying, I promise it's an amazing park. It certainly has some rough edges. Some of the sight lines are really weird, as I pointed out in some points today. Some people complain about the park being like mostly outdoor rides, so what happens when it storms? Even though that did kind of affect my day today, I still don't think the park is too heavily focused on the outdoor rides, because even when all the outdoor rides are closed, you still have Battle of the Ministry, Harry Potter, Mario Kart, and Monsters Unchained. Those are your three dark rides. I haven't done Mario Kart, I assume it's pretty good, but that is a solid trio of dark rides to anchor the park even when there is inclement weather. And then on top of that, you have both of the shows continue to operate every 45 minutes, even during storms, obviously, because they're indoor shows. So between those three dark rides and two shows, I would not say that this park has a lack of indoor attractions at all. I don't really know where people are getting that from. That's just my opinion, obviously. And I think the fact that Epic Universe has a lot more outdoor attractions than some of the other Universal parks is actually a good thing, because outdoor attractions are what kind of give kinetic energy and all that to specific areas and help the park to not feel like a quiet, empty box, if you know what I mean, like Universal Studios Florida, which I'll probably be going to tomorrow as well. It's that park is not my favorite. It's not my favorite. I think a big part of that is that there's not enough outdoor attractions, so it just, everything feels kind of, I don't know, just not lively. But anyways, one more thing that I heard people complain about that I don't agree with. A lot of people say that Epic doesn't quite have enough attractions. I totally disagree. Yes, it has the least number of attractions of any Universal park right now, but that's because it just opened. You can't expect a brand new park to have just as many rides as a park that's been building up its ride lineup for 20 years. And even though Epic Universe might have in quantity fewer attractions than Islands or Studios, to me it felt like there was a lot more to do at Epic Universe than Studios, probably because Studios is a lot of filler. Nothing at Epic Universe really feels like filler. I mean, you have Constellation Carousel, which is definitely a supporting attraction, but you need to have supporting attractions at your park. And there's like one or two of the rides in Burke you could probably count as filler. Overall, even though there's less total attractions, almost every attraction at Epic Universe is like a must experience, or at least very, very good. I do think there's plenty to do there. Obviously, the park will and should continue to expand over the next couple years, but it's probably personal opinion. There are certainly gaps in their ride lineup that I would like to see filled, but any park is always going to have gaps in their ride lineup. There is no such thing as a perfect park with a perfect ride lineup. But just spitballing here for Epic based on my experience in one day today, I think they need 2 or 3 more like supporting attractions like Constellation Carousel, small things that won't garner huge waits, that'll be, you know, something you do quickly in between big rides or in between shows or something. Because all they really have is Constellation Carousel, and then I guess you could count whatever the Gerstlauer thing in Burke. But I feel like they need 2 or 3, preferably in Celestial Park, 2 or 3 more just kind of small filler attractions. They need 2 or 3 more filler attractions. I was thinking about this earlier today. I think they could also benefit from like a slow moving, more classic style dark ride. I guess Yoshi kind of fills that gap. While Monsters and Battle of the Ministry were both fantastic, they were pretty intense experiences that may not necessarily be for everyone and may not always be super re-rideable. And while Mario Kart is, I'm sure, not as intense as those two, it still seems like a bit of a sensory overload kind of experience. So a more classic dark ride akin to, you know, what Disney usually does or used to do would probably serve this park's lineup pretty well, to be honest, just to give you something that's a little bit more relaxing to do but still indoors, still dark ride. Yeah, when I'm really thinking about it, despite Stardust Racers being their only like extreme thrill coaster, it's a very like thrill focused park, if that makes sense. Like, there are very few rides that are like chill. Something calmer would probably be good. Something more like a Yoshi thrill level, but like a full dark ride experience or something. I've been talking too long. I need to go to sleep. But yeah, my first day at Epic was, for lack of a better word, epic. Hope to get to ride with you again very soon. Good night.